Hi friends, I'm going to be playing a campaign of 5 Parsecs From Home. I was really excited to get started on this. I am in the midst of painting my crew, working on finishing up the last two, and I was really excited to just start rolling up the crew, so I could pick the minis to use. And I also found online this website called 5 Parsecs Companion. If you're a veteran of 5 Parsecs, you may already know about this, but this seems to be a fan made page. It's not affiliated with Modiphius or Nordic Weasel Games, but it seems really handy. Well, I'll be using this to track my campaign, and as I said, I was really excited. So I've already rolled up my 6 crew members. Let's just go through here and let me show you what I've rolled up so far. First of all, the crew log. My crew name is just the Lightning Bugs, and that is because they're just named after the ship. I've gone through most of the campaign setup steps. I've got 8 story points to start with. It's turn 0 because we haven't started yet. This is my first time playing, so we're doing a normal difficulty. And I picked the victory condition as complete 3 quests because that seemed like one of the easier ones to start with. And we're just going to be playing straight out of the core rulebook on this first time around. My crew could be described as a group as somewhat honorable bandits, and they also met as old war buddies. So they were buddies in some previous war, probably an uprising against the unity government, central government. The only other thing here I put in the notes section is I just listed out all of the options for stars of the story just to remind myself, and then if I use them as I go through the campaign, I will scratch them out or delete them from here. And I'm gonna say I have not dived into the setting information too deeply on 5 Parsecs yet. I am just going to assume that it's kind of a Firefly setting, and especially with this crew, the way things rolled up and some of the miniatures I wanted to use, this crew will have some tie-ins to Firefly. You'll see that as I tell you about it. The Unity government, I guess I'm thinking of it as very similar to the central government in the Firefly TV show and Serenity movie, where everything's, it's a pretty nice place to live on the surface, but they've got some deep secrets or not so nice things that are beneath the surface that the general population doesn't know about. This campaign will take place largely on the fringes, and I'm thinking of the fringes as a combination between the Firefly show and like the Outer Rim of Star Wars. Okay, enough about that. We'll build that as we go. In my stash, I have one extra piece of equipment, which is an analyzer. That is not really a combat piece of equipment. It stays on the ship. It helps you when you're trying to convert your groomers into a quest. It gives you +1 on that roll, I think. And what I did is, as I rolled up the characters, I just noted like the number of weapon rolls I had, the number of credits and extra stuff, that I just put it all in a pool. I generated everything, and then I assigned out all the equipment to the characters as I saw fit, which you could do because they can trade equipment according to the rules anyway. We ended up starting with 12 credits. We ended up starting with 2 patrons and 0 rivals, so that's good. We don't have any rumors yet. Let's talk about our ship. Our ship is the IF Lightning Bug, which is IF, I just made that up, that stands for Independent Freighter. We have 30 hull points, and we owe a debt of 22 credits on our ship payment. The traits, I rolled up a Worn Freighter, so this is just to remind me in case we take damage. Our current hull is 30, but our max hull is 30, and this ship otherwise has no special traits. That's about it as far as the ship goes. Let's talk about our crew. When I generated my crew, I chose a crew default size of 6. I used a combination of methods for generating the crew. I wanted a variety in my crew, so I just picked that there'd be 1 human, 1 alien, and 1 bot. And then the other 3 I did completely randomly, and as it turned out, I rolled them. I ended up with randomly generating 1 human, 1 alien, and 1 bot. So I've got 2 of each. I did not get any special characters. So in my 2 aliens, I rolled for the subtypes, and they are different subtypes. So the first one is one of my bots. It's the iPal, which stands for Interactive Personal Assistant Mark 1, where the L in PAL is really a 1. It is a bot, so it does not have any background or motivation or class. It normally just has the normal bot stat line, which is a reaction of 2, speed of 4, combat of +1, toughness of 4, and a savvy of 2. And then, as I said, I rolled up everything. I actually wound up with a lot of weapons, and a couple of my characters got savvy increases. So I ended up with, I believe, 3 high-tech weapon rolls, and I did give most of my characters, I got enough weapons where most of them have 2 weapons. So he has a colony rifle for long range, and he has a machine pistol for close up. Second one is Captain Lamb. He might look familiar. I wanted to use this mini, that's why I named my ship the Lightning Bug. So he's a human. He comes from a regressed world. So like, I think because of the war, Captain Lamb was a soldier, maybe a leader of the squad. His world rose up against the Unity government. It wanted to succeed and do its own thing. They lost, and that's why his world is now regressed. They got bombed back. It's now a pretty primitive world. It doesn't have a lot of the stuff most of the Unity worlds would have. His motivation is wealth, and he's a working class person. So he has a reaction of 1, a speed of 4, combat of +0, toughness of 2, and a savvy of 2. He got a savvy increase and a toughness increase. Just a quick note here. I rechecked Captain Lamb's stats because savvy of 2 seemed wrong to me. He's supposed to have a savvy of 1, I believe. Working class does give you a +1 increase to savvy, but humans start with 0. And he also got a luck increase. He got 1. He has 2 luck. One of his things gave him a luck increase, and the other one, he got the automatic luck from being named the captain, the leader. He has only 1 weapon, and it's a dueling pistol, which is surprisingly, the dueling pistol is one of the high-tech weapons. He has 1 piece of gear, which is loaded dice, and what you do is you roll a d6, and if you roll a 1 to 4, you get that many credits. A 5 is nothing. If you roll a 6, you lose the dice and you roll the injury table. So if you roll a 6, you got caught cheating, apparently, and they whoever you were gambling with beat you up, and you have to roll on the injury table. And this is during the campaign turn. The way that it's worded on this gadget, it seems like it says do this on, quote, on the side. So I believe that does not take your actual campaign action. You can I think you can do a campaign action and still use your loaded dice to gamble. I am going to play it that way. Please let me know if that's not right. Okay, so that's everything for Captain Lamb. And then the third character, name is Krax. He is a primary alien, and I rolled feral. And it says, so ferals are basically like genetically modified animals. It does say normally cat or dog, but I had this really cool reptilian soldier mini, dinosaur soldier mini, and I really wanted to use this. So this is Krax. He's my feral. He has a background of a military brat. He has the motivation of freedom and the class of ganger. So the way that I interpret those 3 things fitting together, he was genetically modified as a super soldier from an evil corporation. They had kind of a ruined city on an abandoned planet, which was like Escape from New York style prison, where they put various gangs of genetically modified species. Like they would put all the reptilians together, and they would put all the cat people together, and they would put all the dog soldiers together, and they basically made them fight each other to train them and to make them learn survival skills and combat skills. And so for this generation, the reptilians came out on top. Then they were sold off under contract to the Unity government to act as, mercenaries, and they were deployed against then Sergeant Lamb's unit in their uprising. There was a big battle. Most of Krax's squad got wiped out, or he got separated from them and wounded, and he was trapped with Lamb and his unit, and it was like an enemy mine type of situation. They actually helped him heal his wounds, and he kind of defected to their side. So that's the backstory. And then when Lamb got his ship, he sent an invitation to Krax to join. His background stuff gave him reaction increase to 2. He has a speed of 4. He has a combat of +1. He has toughness of 3, savvy 0. His background stats also let him start with 2 experience points. And he has a blast pistol and a shotgun. Blast pistol, I think, is another high-tech. Shotgun is a low-tech weapon. The next crew member is Mylie, and she is a human. She's younger, actually. She's not one of the war buddies. She's the daughter of one of Lamb's squad members, and her mother was in Captain Lamb's squad, and her mother is aging and kind of, I think, sickly a little bit, not fit to go on a space adventure, but Mylie was certainly interested when invite came for her mother, so she showed up instead. It was a little bit of a surprise to Captain Lamb, but he's kind of taken her in. So she's a human. Her background is Lower Mega City. Her motivation is political, and her class is technician. So she's kind of the human that knows stuff about science. That did give her an increase of savvy, so she has a savvy of 1. Her political motivation actually gives her one of the patrons. So basically, she's like got bots' rights is kind of what her political objective is. She wants equal rights for artificial life forms, like the iPal. She brought iPal with her when she came to the crew. She has a reaction of 1, speed of 4, combat of +0, toughness of 3, savvy of 1. Because the rest of the crew wants to protect her. She got the only piece of armor that I rolled up. She has a frag vest, which gives a 6+ armor save or a 5+ versus area weapons. She has a marksman's rifle, so she can stay at the back. And she has a handgun, which this marksman's rifle is a military weapon, and handgun is a low-tech weapon. My 5th crew member is Hamm'r. He's a Kieran, is the species, which I looked up a little bit. They're a martial species in the 5 Parsecs From Home. I think of them as kind of Klingons. Obviously, the mini I'm using is Darth Maul. He has a glare sword. Not yet, but the miniature has a lightsaber, of course. Darth Maul's double-ended lightsaber. Hopefully, I'll be able to get a glare sword for him eventually. So I rolled alien culture, loyalty, and class mercenary for him, which gives him some bonuses to his combat. Loyalty gives the second patron that we had, and we'll talk about the patrons in a second when we talk about the planet. But he has a reaction of 1, speed of 4, combat of +1, toughness of 4, savvy of 0, no luck or XP yet. I gave him a beam pistol, which is my 3rd high-tech weapon. And I gave him a brutal melee weapon. This is the only melee weapon I rolled up. So he's the only one with a melee weapon. So we're going to mostly be shooting, at least to start with. And so there you go. And this last one is my 2nd bot character. I named him DD209, which stands for Defense Droid Series 209. This is the mini. Well, I wanted to use this one. It reminds me of the Enforcement Droid 209 from RoboCop, which is why I named it this. So it's a bot, so it just has the normal bot stat line. Reaction 2, speed 4, combat 1, toughness 4, savvy 2. And bots have a better stat line to start with, but they don't earn experience points, so you can't improve them in the normal way. You have to buy with credits instead of experience their increases. And you can only, if I remember this correctly, you can only increase each stat once for a bot. He has a military rifle and a scrap pistol. And he has the bot armor save of 6+. Doesn't have any background motivation or class because he's a bot. For the stories, I forgot. So Kieran was just another one of the squad members of Lamb's squad. And the Defense Droid 209 was a wrecked droid. When the crew all came together, when Lamb, Krax, and Mylie and Hamm'r all came together to start this adventure, there was in the spaceport where they were at, the the defense droid DD-209 was basically going to be sold for scrap. Mylie, with her political motivations for bot rights, basically picked up DD-209, used the last of her credits. He was not functional, but she bought the wreck of DD-209 and was able to repair him back together before, this is just backstory, in order to get him working again. That's why he looks more like a warbot. But he's not functional as a warbot. His stats are just a normal bot, right? Okay, so that's my story of how my crew came together. They're all ready to start. We're in turn 0. So let's talk about the world. I rolled up the world. Okay, so I just made up the name Praxis Prime. That's the world that they're going to start on. I rolled up the trait for the world. It has reflective dust, which just means anytime you use a beam, a laser, or a blast weapon, they are -1 to hit at range 9 inches or longer ranges. So that may or may not come into play. Now, I rolled up the 2 patrons. One was a private organization, so this is the one that basically Mylie has a contact with, and it's called the S.O.L.U, the Synthetic Organisms Liberties Union. They basically, anything that's a synthetic organism, bots, genetically modified soldiers, what have you, it's an advocacy group for the rights of those kind of characters, people. It's a private organization. I did roll the benefit already, and this is a persistent one. So if they move from Praxis Prime to a different planet, they'll still have this patron. Now, I didn't roll a job for the patron, but correct me if I'm wrong. I think I looked it up. It wasn't clear to me from reading the rulebook whether when you have a starting patron, they will automatically offer you a job on the first turn. So I didn't roll up the jobs yet, but I think they do. So we'll roll up the jobs for turn 1 here in a second. My second patron is the Shadow Brotherhood. It's definitely not the Sith, but they are a secretive group. This is the one that comes from Hamm'r's loyalty. So I rolled up. It does not have any benefit. Just the fact that it's a secretive group. When you roll the available time or whatever it's called, you add +1 to the number of turns you have to complete it. So that's what we've got. Let's go ahead and roll up what our 2 patron jobs are, and then when we're ready, we'll start turn 1. So I was looking at it. Like I said, I rolled on this table already. I got a private organization and a secretive group. You'll notice I did not roll a sector government, but just from the description, sector government, why would that not be persistent? I mean, you're going from one planet to the other, but it's a sector government. So I guess this is my first house rule. If I get a patron that's sector government, it will be persistent automatically, and then I'll still do the roll for an additional benefit. So let's go ahead and roll the job that we got from the S.O.L.U, the private organization, to start with. So let's roll danger pay. What do we roll? We roll a D10. Add +1 if we're working for a corporation. We're not a corporation, so we're going to roll a 1D10. I'm going to roll 2D10, and the one that's farther over to the left is going to be the one we count. Okay, the one that's over to the left, that's this one. That's a 3. So we got danger pay of 1. +1 credit for danger pay. Time frame, we'll do the same thing. I'll re-roll, and the one that's farther to the left. Okay, so the one to the left is a 6. So this or the next campaign turn. So that's going to be 2 turns. Or by turn 2. In the benefit section, danger pay +1 credit. Turn 2. We got to do that by turn 2. And then the last thing, benefits and hazards. I already rolled the benefit. That's that the patron is persistent. The benefit doesn't change from job to job. We need to roll on the hazards subtable. Let's see. So we got a 5, which is VIP. A random enemy will have toughness, +1 toughness, and final combat skill of +2, regardless of current value. Oh, wait. Before we do this, we actually need to roll if there is a hazard or condition. So I'm getting ahead of myself. So this is for our private organization. So we need to roll 8 plus if there's a hazard or a condition. Okay, let's step back and do that. Is there a hazard? There's a hazard on a 8 or higher. 9. There is a hazard, so we just rolled the hazard. It's the VIP. Okay. Is there another condition? We need an 8. We got a 4, so there's no other conditions. Okay, so you don't determine the enemies until you actually choose it. So that's all we need to do for right now, I think. For the first one. We also need to go back and do the details for the second one. So the second one, we have a job from the Shadow Brotherhood, which is a secretive group. So let's roll on our danger pay. Danger pay is 1d10. Let me switch back to the rulebook. So we're danger pay, we roll a d10. We got a 3, which is 1 credit of danger pay for this guy. And then we need to roll the time frame, and since it's a secretive group, we get a add +1 to the roll. So not +1 turns, +1 to the roll. Okay. So we rolled a... Oh, it was going to be a 6. So we got a 2, 3. So this secretive, even though we got a +1, this is this campaign turn. So this is +1 danger pay, and then this has to be done by turn 1. So I guess we kind of know what we're probably going to do on turn 1, because I'm not clear. If you don't take a job before the thing expires, I don't know if you lose the patron. I know if you take a job and you fail it, you could lose the patron, but I'm not sure if you just choose not to do a mission, whether you lose them or not. Okay. Hazards and conditions. We already rolled benefit and we did not get a benefit. So there's no extra benefit ever for doing work for the Shadow Brotherhood. But let's find out what else they're offering. So is there a hazard? There's a hazard on an 8+. Oh, a 10. So there's definitely a hazard. And then let's see, is there an extra condition on an 8+? No. So just hazards. So let's roll the hazard for this guy. So a 4. This is a hot job. After the job, you will earn an enemy on, I think that's rival. After the job, you will earn a rival on 1 to 2 instead of the normal roll of 1. Yeah, that's supposed to say rival. I guess we don't have to look for jobs for turns 1 and 2. So probably for turn 1, we'll do the secretive group, and turn 2, we'll do this one, and then we can start looking for jobs on turn 3. So we survived to turn 3. Okay, friends, that's going to wrap it up for this video. We're done with our pre-game for Five Parsecs From Home. The next thing we're going to do when we come back in the next one is to start campaign turn 1. So if you've enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. Also, thank you for watching. Have a great day.